Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. If you are new here, my name is Latriva Hill. I made a life-changing decision at 55 to pack up all my belongings and move to Panama. This journey started with me when I lost my husband and my daughter 2 months later. This tragic experience, it really did change my perspective on life. I wanted to embrace new beginnings and to re-experience joy and peace in my life in a vibrant, beautiful country. So I decided on Panama. My journey is about healing, adventure, and finding peace in the midst of change. So if that is something that you are interested in, please stay tuned. I will share more of my journey with you today. My journey started December 21st, 2024, when my husband and I went to purchase me a new car at the BMW car lot. That experience took us all day, but we wanted the perfect financing with the perfect car. So after we found exactly what we were looking for, I took off in the new car and my husband took off behind me, following me home. Little did I know that he would never make it home, and that would be the last time I would see him alive. Then 2 months after that, I get a phone call, February 21st, that my daughter passed away. So if you have never dealt with such tragedy, you can imagine the toll that both of those experiences took on me. In the months that followed, I noticed a huge change in my physical appearance. I wasn't leaving the house. I was just eating, and kind of barricading myself in my home. That was the place that I felt most comforted and secure. In the months that followed, I noticed a significant change in my body. I would order takeout 3 to 4 times a week. I wasn't cooking. I wasn't cleaning. I was just in the house eating and drinking. So initially, I did that for about 8 months and I thought I was okay. But after that 8 months, I sat there. I remember sitting on the sofa thinking, looking up to all of the rooms that I had above me, is this what my life is going to look like now? I didn't go back to work. I was a real estate agent at Coldwell Banker, Associated Brokers, and my husband was a recruiter for the company. I didn't know what was next for me. So I sat there and just looked at myself. I didn't recognize myself anymore. I had gained about 80 pounds, and this is within 8 months. I just started disappearing. The old me didn't exist anymore. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know how to feel. I just felt like, who am I? What am I supposed to do now? I didn't know. But the turning point was, I sat there and I thought, you know what? My body started to ache because it had never been that big before. So I just started moving. I said, okay, Latriva, come on now. He wouldn't want you to do this. Your daughter wouldn't want you to do this. So slowly I got up, started moving again, started cleaning again, and focusing on more of me, self-care, figuring out what I wanted in the future. The biggest thing is I noticed that I needed to stop isolating myself. At that part of my journey, I needed people around me. I needed to have conversation. I needed to feel as if life was normal again. So probably about a year into my journey there in my house, I thought about renting out my rooms. So I rented out 4 of my bedrooms upstairs, which was on the total opposite side of my master or the primary. And I rented those out for $1,000 a month. So for that first year, I simply survived on my savings and my sales from my real estate career. So I looked up at all of those rooms that I had up there and I thought, I'm spending all of my money, my savings. This house could make me money. Overall, I am a real estate agent. So I rented out 4 of those bedrooms that I had upstairs that was totally opposite of the house. I didn't even walk into those rooms anymore. So to my surprise, they all rented out very quickly. So for $1,000, 4 rooms, I had an extra $4,000 that I now could have to pay some of my expenses and not use all of my savings. I remember the first girl that moved in. It was the first time that she's ever moved away from her mom and dad, and they came to the house and they thought, oh, this is great. She'll be secure and she'll be happy here. She stayed with me probably for about 1.5 years, but she was the eye opener. She was the first one that came in, and I took her on kind of like an auntie. And she came to me for advice. We cooked dinner together. We would go out together, and things just seemed to start feeling a little bit normal again. Then I had the second, the third, and the 4th person move in. And at that point, I felt myself kind of coming back to some sense of normalcy. I didn't recognize my body anymore, and mentally I was exhausted. But I gave myself grace. I was like, you know what? Your body has endured, your mental health has endured a lot. And I gave myself grace to decide at what pace I wanted to get myself healthy again. Stop it. So quickly, I did start to exercise again. I started to eat properly and cook now that I had people in the house. That was one of the things that I felt weird about, cooking for myself. So that was one of the reasons that I would eat out all the time, because just cooking for myself, that wasn't fun. That was boring. So I started cooking for myself. I started cooking for the person that had moved in with me. So things seem to be looking up for me. I would say after a year of having my rooms rented out, so now we're about probably close to 2 years into me being without my husband. Stop it, Coco. I was talking with my girlfriend, and she was telling me about Panama. And I thought that would be a great thing for me. I was like, I was ready for the change. I was ready to embark on something new and exciting that no one knew me. I could start over. I could put all the pain behind me. Sorry. Go lay down, Coco. I can put all the tragedy behind me. Although it would never go away, it would give me the opportunity to kind of just start a new life. So April 2024, I decided to take my first trip to Panama. I came out by myself. I decided that I would stay here for about a month. So I started in Old Town, Panama. I was there for about 2 weeks. Actually, I was there for a month and loved it. I loved every minute of it. I felt alive. I felt like I had so many options as far as what I wanted to do each day. The country was healthy. The food was delicious. So I really felt myself coming alive again. So after that first month, I thought, I don't want to go back home. This feels great. So at that moment, I decided that Panama would be my forever home. As a real estate agent, I did not want to sell my own home. I didn't want to go back home. I just wanted to step into this next chapter of my life. So I called a colleague and asked her, hey, can you put my house on the market so that I can get out of here? I'm in Panama. I have no intentions on coming back. So I really wanted her to handle every aspect of my house sale. I did end up coming back 2 months later just so that I can give my tenants their 30-day notice so that we could start clearing the house and preparing for the sale. Thank God everybody was able to find and relocate themselves, so my house was clear within 30 days and the process started for my home to be sold. At that point, I didn't do anything. I didn't sell anything. I just wanted out. So I got back on the plane and came back to Panama. My house was on the market probably 3 months and it sold. So I got the phone call, my house has sold. Now I have to go back to the States and figure out what am I gonna do with all of those things that I had in my house. And I only had 2 weeks to do it. 2 weeks escrow, guys. That was insane. So take a look at what it looked like for me to sell all of my things in 2 weeks. Hello. It's a late post because I've been out here busy today. But yeah, I'm still out here in Menifee with my estate sale. So everything in my house behind me here must go. I had so many clothes. I owned a boutique before I became a real estate agent. So I had my closet was like a little boutique. So I had to sell racks and racks of clothes along with the racks. So take a look at some of the clothes I had for sale. I had all of these things set up downstairs in my dining room. Thank God, the first week I started selling everything, I had one of my neighbors come by and he purchased my entire formal dining room, formal living room, a bunch of TVs. He bought everything that I had on the table and walls in my dining area. So it was all cleared out probably within the first week. Those were the major, huge items. So after that, all I had to do was kind of bring things out and start with my estate sale, which went pretty good. But take a look, guys, at what it looked like in my dining room with all my clothes. The majority of the money that I've been making, honestly, is on my clothes. I have some really great clothes that unfortunately I can't take them all to Panama. So inside, I have tons of shoes. My shoe size is between 8 and a 9.5 if anyone needs shoes. I have live plants. The furniture's already sold. I do have live plants. Hangers, so anybody with a store or wanting wood hangers, man, I have tons of them. Everything here came from my boutique, so I have about 400 wooden hangers. So this is the clothes that we're looking at now. That's still available. Some really great stuff and deals still in there. Not only did I have tons of clothes, but my husband and I, we were really into motorcycling and three-wheeling with our slingshot and things like that. So we had tons and tons of helmets that were extremely expensive and custom to us. That hit hard when I knew that I had to sell some of those helmets for little to nothing. Take a look at some of them. Come out, say hi, say bye, because I'm going to Panama. With some great deals. I do still have a bunch of stuff. I have some great helmets. Man, my helmets are good. So stop by. As a very creative person, I also paint. So I think back right before COVID started, I was doing paint and sips. I am a painter, so I invest in a whole bunch of easel setups and lights and fans and everything that one would need to start their business. So I incorporated paint and sip into my boutique, and I had all of those supplies that I needed to get rid of as well. Could take a look at some of the paintings and some of the stuff I had there. That was really fun. I will be starting to paint again here in Panama once. Actually, I found an easel. So I'll find my easel, find a chair, get me a nice little setup for outside, and I will start to paint again here in Panama. But take a look at some of the things that I had to sell. Everything must go, guys. We're going to Panama. And sip, people. I have all of these easels. Let me show you. I have the tall ones. I have the countertop ones. Well, actually, people have been buying the chairs, but I do still have the trays. But I have about 10 large easels. I have about 40 of the tabletop easels. So yeah, I'm out here. Come on out. People are arriving. It's going great, but everything must go. Thank you, ladies. Talk to you later. Bye. Once I started selling those items, I really started executing my plan on my new life here in Panama. I had the renters there paying $1,000 a room, so I had the money to come to Panama and stop draining my savings to live for those couple months I was there. Now returning back to Panama after selling the items and giving items away, donating items, it was extremely, extremely stressful 2 weeks. I was totally working off of emotions and survival. I do not recommend that you decide to move and just up and go. Please plan what you're going to do with your things. I did choose initially that I wasn't going to bring anything with me, just a couple clothing items and some of my favorite things. But since I was so rushed with that escrow, it was just so emotional. 3-car garage. Well, thank God I rented out 4 of those bedrooms, so I didn't have to worry about things that I had in those rooms. But I kind of started pushing things into other rooms to hide, from emptying out the other rooms. My husband and I, we completely lived in that big house. I lived in every single room with an office, an art room, a closet, whatever you could think of, I had in that room, in that house. So yes, as I started packing and it started getting down to the wire, and I look around and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get rid of all this stuff before it's time for my new owners to come in. So I just started freaking out. I was going to Marshall's buying big suitcases for $99. Like I was buying like 3 a day. I was buying suitcases 3 a day, and just when I tell you I was putting any and everything in those suitcases, it was pretty ridiculous, and it was really emotional. It was emotional for me to know that I had a deadline to get out of my forever home, to know that I could not bring all of my husband's things, all of my daughter's things with me. I came to the realization that, wow, I am really about to start on this new journey. And it was frightening. In that moment, it was very frightening. It got down to the last day where I was supposed to turn over my keys within, I think it was by 6 o'clock. By 6 o'clock, I still had tons of stuff in the house. But one of the great things that the new owners did tell me was that if you don't want something, just leave it. Because obviously when they came to see the house, they loved everything that I had in there, and they knew they had a tight escrow and that I may not be able to get rid of a lot of my things. But fortunate for me, I did sell a lot of those big items right away the first week that I came to start my estate sale. So a lot of those great big items were already gone. I did have a bunch of stuff still left though. I still had I love to entertain. I had entertaining stuff. I had, you name it, still in there. But because they made that comment to me, I sure did. I was down to 6 o'clock. They walked in. I still had bags in my hand, rolling out suitcases. I think overall, I brought 18 suitcases with me. So I ended up with 18 suitcases, $100 a pop. So what's that, $1,800? That's crazy. So 18 suitcases by the time I got to Panama. Well, 18 suitcases and 2 girlfriends to fly with me to Panama so that I can check all these bags. And I flew Copa. By the time I got to Panama with all my 18 bags, I started opening things, and it was ridiculous, guys. I mean, at one point I put the entire bathroom counter of everything I had on there in a suitcase. I'm still using the skincare today. So I'm saying I'm not going to buy one more thing until I run through all of the stuff that I did bring in those suitcases. But that was all done on emotion. So I do not recommend that you wait till the last minute to get rid of your things. My girlfriend, she's almost done with her things and she's just living in there with nothing. And that's the way to do it versus stressing yourself out, not being sure, what you want to bring, what you don't want to bring. Panama, you can pretty much find everything that you're looking for here. Some of the appliances are pretty cheaply made. So if you look at the prices and the prices are too good to be true, I would just go ahead and buy the most expensive one, because a lot of these things are lightweight and plastic that won't last you long at all. But that was my journey, guys, my journey to getting here. Stay tuned for part 2, where I will show my first month in Panama and tell you guys how it's going for me now. How am I doing with my mental health now? I'm sure you already know that, but I definitely want to share my story with you. So if you do like my content, please like, subscribe, and thank you for the ones that have been with me from day one here on this channel. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So guys, have a great Thanksgiving and stay tuned for part 2. Bye.